Welcome to Digital Hospitality. I am your host, Sean Walchef. This is a Cali BBQ Media production. We are coming to you live from the National Restaurant Association show in Chicago from the Restaurant 365 mega booth in the floor. There are 55,000 restaurant professionals here. There are 12 football fields of vendors, 2,200 vendors, and our job is that we know that not every restaurateur, not every hospitality professional and leader can be here in Chicago. So we are boots on the ground, finding the best stories of the coolest products, the coolest services that are out there. And we've got some really cool news. So this news came out recently, but we're here to talk about ExpandShare. Can you introduce yourself and let the audience know what is ExpandShare and what is the big news that was announced recently?
Sure, yeah. So, hello everybody, Ty Shehadi here with formerly ExpandShare, now I guess still kind of ExpandShare Restaurant 365 company, but we are the employee training platform that was recently acquired by Restaurant 365. So really excited to be a part of that suite. We've been doing employee training since 2008, been specific to this industry since about 2016. And we've been working closely with Restaurant 365 for the past couple of years. So really excited about what the future is going to hold with this relationship.
Please tell us more about employee training. I mean, this is a digital hospitality show. We believe deeply in technology that helps empower things specifically like making our team better. So
yeah,
share a little bit about the platform.
Sure. So personally, I came from restaurant operations, so employee training was something that, to me, it's always been kind of a gap in the space, right? It's always been not tracked, shoulder to shoulder. Everybody's adding this is my way to do things, and it makes it really tough when you're thinking about a brand that's looking to scale, and they want brand consistency. So for us, it's like, how do we create a platform that isn't like a corporate LMS where I'm going to sit in front of a computer and I'm going to click through training, I'm going to watch this video, and then I need to know how to do something. So for us, it's training in their pocket when they need it, and we really try to think about the restaurant manager and how strapped they are for time. It's like, how do we take some of the redundant tasks off? Like onboarding, reading a handbook and signing off on a handbook, or watching a short video and then getting on the line and doing something, and having that trainer be able to observe them and sign off on it digitally on their phone. Maybe take a picture of the finished product, or do things like that, where now it rolls up to a digital profile. So for us, it's automating that that onboarding flow and that initial new hire training. And then what we know about restaurants is things are always changing. Maybe it's an LTO, or maybe you have a new sub bun that that's a little bit different, or maybe the recipe changes. So it has to be easy to change and edit, and you have to be able to give them access on the fly. So we have some really cool AI tools built in. Nice. So they can put all their content into a library, and then the trainee can just ask a question to it, and it'll answer them based off the content that they have.
Really?
And then point them directly to that video. Maybe it's how do I make the bacon cheeseburger? It's going to spit out the recipe on their phone, and then it's going to point them to that recipe card. And then the manager actually gets a report that shows all the questions that are being asked. So maybe everybody's asking how to make the bacon cheeseburger. So maybe now we need to reinforce that training. But the coolest thing is the restaurant space is very diverse.
Yeah.
And if we think about front of house, back of house, we have a lot of different languages, and English isn't always the first language.
Yep.
So what if all my training content's in English, but my Spanish-speaking cook can ask it a question in Spanish, and it answers it in Spanish, even though that recipe was in English. So
that's amazing.
That's some of the cool stuff that we're doing, and what the future holds for how our products will continue to work together. Restaurant 365 knows so much about the back office and store performance, and and food costs and inventory and and accounting. what if store performance actually then was automating some trainings that went out based off of a store has high food costs or server check averages are down. So, that's what excites us so much about now being a part of this suite.
That's incredible. Can you share a little bit about the integration? Like you guys initially were integrated, but like how deep is it now, and what can a Restaurant 365 customer expect?
Yeah. So today it's super simple. We just want you to be able to manage your employees in one place. So you have the R365 platform. Your staff is in there. We already know the role and we know the location they're at, so it's going to auto assign them training. It's going to invite them into ExpandShare, and it'll assign them training based off that role and that location. And then as they leave or they're pulled out of the R365 platform, they're pulled out of the ExpandShare platform. So really simple in present day, but it'll continue to evolve here in the near future.
That's really exciting. How big was the ExpandShare team?
So we only had a team of about 30 to 35 employees.
That's awesome.
Total. Yeah.
That's incredible.
Yep. So, and everybody's now part of the R365 team.
I mean, one of the biggest feedback from all of the shows that I go to, all of the boards that I sit on, all the restaurateurs I talk to is just how difficult training is.
Yeah.
For all of the reasons that you mentioned. I mean, we have hiring is a problem, training and retention is a problem, but how do you take care of meeting staff where they are?
Yeah.
In a digital environment.
Yeah, exactly. It's funny because our slogan was, we meet you where you are, and we're talking about restaurants. Like, we meet you where you are with training, with your process, but talking about you saying, meeting the staff where they are. Like, the staff right now, if you think about the staff in the industry, we're talking about not just Gen Z, but now Gen Alpha coming up. And it's like, where are they? They're on their phones.
Yep.
And they want to consume short videos, and they want to be able to check a box, or they actually want to potentially be proactive and see what is expected of them ahead of time.
Yep.
I think giving restaurants those tools, I think, will really help. But a big piece of retention is employees want to feel confident in their roles, and training drives confidence. But if they're not trained, if they feel like they're not prepared, then they're going to be unhappy and they're going to leave. And we don't just see that in restaurants; we see that everywhere. So if we can help them have a bit more confidence, and also if they're not feeling confident, they have access to maybe study up or grab, because they're too embarrassed to ask the manager because they just got taught. So I don't know if that answered your question.
No, that does, because, I mean, literally we live in an on-demand world. One of the reasons why we do this show on YouTube, on TikTok, on Instagram, on LinkedIn, like, we can't discriminate where people are going to find the content.
Yeah.
Too many podcasters will go, subscribe on Apple Podcasts. Well, what if I'm an Android user?
Yeah.
I'm not subscribing there. What if I listen to Spotify?
Right.
For us, we need to make content available on all the platforms. And for me, it's really cool to see Restaurant 365 working and now acquired, now bringing you guys into the ecosystem, because we know how important it is to have strong hospitality.
Yeah. Yeah. And think about your podcast, right? So you not only have podcasts, but people can get a taste, a snippet, a bite, and that bite is impactful, right?
Correct.
That's a piece of the podcast that they wanted to hear, that spoke to them. Training is the same way. You might have a longer piece of training, but now the employee has access to just a snippet, just a taste of it, and they can grab it when they need it.
Yeah. I mean, reading, writing, doesn't matter, listening.
Right.
Like, so many people learn in different ways, right?
Yeah,
Some people
sure.
sink or swim. It's like, throw me in the pool, I'll learn how to swim.
Yeah.
Other people are like, let's talk about what's going to happen. I want to know.
Yeah.
Like, but you have to be able to do that. And we have such a diverse workforce that it's important to give them the tools that they need to be successful and confident.
Absolutely. I think a lot of times when people think about going digital with employee training, it scares the restaurant industry, smaller operators, because they're like, we do things differently and everything needs to be shoulder to shoulder and in person, because we have a unique way of doing things. And I say, absolutely, it does need to be shoulder to shoulder. We don't want to take in person out. We just want to put some tracking behind it. We want to give you visibility that it is getting done, and it is getting done the Cali barbecue way of doing things. So it's we don't want to take that piece away. Like shoulder to shoulder in-person training, it has to exist because that is what hospitality is.
Yeah. Well, we really appreciate it. If you guys are listening to this, please connect with us on LinkedIn. We do a LinkedIn Live every single Wednesday, every single Friday, 10 a.m. Pacific time, 1 p.m. Eastern time. It is a chance for you, if you're in sales, if you're in marketing, if you're a restaurateur, if you're a content creator. We have digital hospitality leaders from all over the globe that join us on stage. So please join us there. Follow Cali BBQ Media for the link to the room. How can people stay in touch with you? How do they learn more on Restaurant 365? They can go now straight to the website.
Yep. You can go straight to the website, check out employee training. You can reach out to me directly. I'd be happy to speak to you.
Are you on LinkedIn?
Yep.
Okay.
I'm on LinkedIn, Ty Shehadi. Happy to spread the good word of employee training.
I really appreciate it. And thank you to Restaurant 365. Please check out their Restaurant Transformation Tour events. They happen all over the country. They have a huge transformation tour festival that's happening in Nashville. We will be there on site. We hope to meet you there. If you want to reach out to me, it's at Sean P. Walchef on all the socials. We appreciate you. Thanks for listening. And please check out all the cool stuff that Restaurant 365 is doing. Appreciate your time today, Ty. Thank you.
Thank you very much for having me. Appreciate it.